You're watching RTV News with me, Jane Mutoni. Cultural experts have expressed worry over the behavior of some youth these days characterized by drunkenness and inappropriate dressing, and have called for efforts to be made to fight such behavior. Farmers in different areas are confident in planting on time for the next crop season as they have started preparing their fields early. Cultural experts have expressed worry over the behavior of some youth these days characterized by drunkenness and inappropriate dressing, and have called for efforts to be made to fight against such behavior. Innocent Mugabo has more details.
Gisimenti area in Remera sector in Kigali city, a place of most of the popular bars in the country. Some youth pour to this place in large numbers, especially on weekends. Those who work here note that the obscene kind of dress code characterizes some of the young that come to have fun here.
Due
to development, things keep on changing. So like here at Gisimenti, usually on Friday evenings, girls pour in unusual dress codes. I believe you also see it on social media, so I see it as development among the youth. Here at Gisimenti, many of the residential houses were turned into bars and dance halls due to the fact that it has become a place for entertainment. Gasana Alex, who has been a bar attendant for 15 years, says that there has been a breach of duty on the part of those they share the same duties, in a way that some bar attendants serve alcohol to children under the age of 18. Where it might have happened are people that unprofessionally sell alcohol. With no knowledge of how a bar should operate, we ask for parents' role in making sure that their children are disciplined, be it in the dress code. Some Hategekimana sees this as development, but also worries about the future. As a youth, I worry about what the next 10 years will be like. We might have got to walking down the street wearing only panties. Those are my concerns, and adults usually say that the youth are spoiled. It's not only about being spoiled, but elders say it's also sad and shameful, as explained by Nsaza Baganwa Stratton, an expert in the Rwandan culture. It's all about comparing and choosing. So when I go to take a shower, I take off my clothes, but I cannot go outside because people might take me to be mad. They keep complaining about girls, but I have also seen boys walking around with sagging trousers, which is also shaming. This damages the culture. Change wouldn't have been bad, but it isn't also good when it is too much. People of different calibers shared their comments on the topic. The Bishop of the Anglican Church Diocese of Kivu, Ahimana Augustine, points out that there should be cooperation between different institutions in dealing with this problem, and there should be a dialogue between parents and their children. Some youth believe that everyone has a right to wear whatever he or she wants when going out, though others see it as a tragedy that has befell Rwanda. Eli Mugabo Ishema, the founder and leader of Nsindagiza organization, stresses that the crux of the problem lies in the family. Parents have failed to fulfill their responsibilities. Children grow up in daycare centers. It's good, it's development, but a child grows up without knowing his or her father or mother. Parents spend no time with their children, claiming to be civilized. Concerning the matter, the Minister of Local Government, Gatabazi Jean-Marie Vianney, also emphasizes that parents should play a role in reducing the severity of this problem. If a child dresses badly and you keep silent about it, he or she will take it to be normal. You have to teach them our culture and values, regardless of your qualifications, or even if you might have lived abroad. It is these values that will earn you respect no matter where you go. The Rwanda National Police says that it won't tolerate such behavior, as explained by the police spokesperson, CP John Bosco Kabera.
kwambara impenure hari ibintu byinshi abantu bakwiye kureba nabyo turimo kubona birimo gufata intera.
We should not tolerate indecent dressing to be among our culture and values. As the police, we shall not turn a blind eye to the matter. Please spread the message.
Ariko noneho turavuga yuko noneho nkana polisi tutazabyemera ngira ngo abantu nabo babyumva ubwo butumwa tugomba kubutanga.
Cultural experts say that culture consists of the heritage of our ancestors, and it is shaped by what people create today, and it is also shaped by external factors. All these categories can be characterized by the good that should be preserved and the bad that should be avoided. Innocent Mugabo, RTV News.
Farmers in different areas are confident in planting on time for the next crop season, as they have started preparing their fields early. Now, the government has also indicated that it has increased the amount of support that it directed towards the acquisition of fertilizers so that cost burden is not too heavy for farmers. Martina Abeda has this report.
In the early hours of the afternoon, Twagirimana Theonest, who lives in the Rusiga sector of Rulindo district, is working on his fields, even though there has not been enough rain. Twagirimana explains that he and his colleagues are ready to plant on time for the upcoming crop season, despite the increase in fertilizer prices.
The price of fertilizers has increased significantly and it is greatly affecting us. However, we try to minimize our use of it and increase the use of manure. We used to buy it at 620 Rwandan francs and now it is 1,000 Rwandan francs, which was the case last season. The government support is there, but we have to repay the loan when we have harvested.
Fertilizers are often mixed with compost by farmers to keep the soil moist. Mokase Kuru Janvier, who also lives in this sector, has already prepared fertilizer for her cattle. This is said to help her to cultivate with confidence of a rich harvest. We have prepared our fields and all we are waiting for is the rain. I have gathered the fertilizers and as soon as it rains, I will plant the seeds. Everyone is ready and we will be able to plant on time. Normally, the first thing we plant is carrots. So as soon as it rains, we shall plant its seeds, then beans in the next week. Those who don't have what to use sometimes ask their neighbors. Agricultural experts say that compost, if used properly, can increase yields by up to 75%, and every citizen can get it from household waste. There are also those who are financially able to collect what is considered waste and turn it into productive fertilizer, where they explain that this fertilizer also supports farmers in a strong way, especially those who do not have animals or who need a lot of fertilizer due to the area they cultivate.
The
plan is to ease the process for the citizens, but we also came up with other solutions, which is to support them financially by reducing the prices. We also plan on teaching the farmers on how they can make their own fertilizers so that when the time comes, they are prepared with their fields and put it to use without encountering any problems.
Due to various reasons that have disrupted the world economy and caused fluctuations in transportation prices, prices of additional crops such as seeds and fertilizers have increased. As for NPK fertilizer last year, it was at 1,357 francs per kilo, and a person would buy it at 882 francs per kilo, while the rest being added on by the government. The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Geraldine Muteshimana, says that although the price of the fertilizer has reached 1,539 francs, farmers should not worry because they will continue to buy it at a current price. Before, a kilo was priced at 882 francs for a farmer. So we decided that the price for the farmer doesn't change, but the support from the government increases, coming from 475 francs the government was giving for a farmer per NPK kilo to 649 francs. There was an increase of almost 200 francs per kilo. This was in order to reduce the obstacles faced by the farmer, because otherwise the price would have easily reached 1,000 francs.
ku gihumbi ku buryo bworoshye.
Currently, the 2022-2023 crop season is being prepared, which is used for multi-year cultivation. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources asks farmers to take good care of the land without it going to waste. It advises them to use inputs and fertilizers sufficiently so that this crop season will leave enough agricultural produce. Martina Avera, RTV News.
Thank you, Martina, for that report. Now, those making pilgrimages to Kibeho in the Nyaruguru district, the place where their operations took place, say that the construction of a gravel road is critical to making the journey easier. However, they are of the view that more infrastructure should be put in place, especially accommodation. According to Rwanda Development Board, the biggest obstacle to investment in Kibeho was the road, adding that there is hope for investors to pique interest. On Monday, Kibeho will once again receive Christians from all over the world. Isabel Masozera has this report.
Those who visit Kibeho come to pray because it was acknowledged by the Catholic Church as the place where the apparitions of the Virgin Mary took place. During festivities and day-to-day, Kibeho welcomes guests from Rwanda and from around the world. Today, residents of Kibeho are grateful for the construction of the tarmac road, which makes it easy to travel. But they have also pointed out that more needs to be done to cope with the day-to-day and the number of people visiting, especially during festivities. We are grateful for this road. The dust has reduced and the road is near us. We thank God for it.
nigeze kuza hano imvura iratunyagira kugeza mu gitondo ariko turabyihangana.
I once came here and it rained on us until morning, but we persisted. But we also needed options for accommodation. I feel more needs to be done in terms of building infrastructure.
Numva haboneka ubundi bushobozi bwo kugamamo.
We see that there is a big place needed for prayers and a place to be received. Like today we came with a car and others too came with their cars that came from far. Even those from nearby come with their bicycles. All of that requires a place.
Ensuring more infrastructure in Kibeho requires the involvement of various stakeholders, including religious organs such as the Diocese of Gikongoro and the Rwanda Development Board, which also has the tourism sector as part of its mandate. The head of the Church of Our Lady in Kibeho says that the Catholic Church is not only concerned with nourishment of the spirit, but it also invests in other projects that are set to be implemented in the next 20 years.
We also put development programs in mind. Like today we have programs. We sat down and looked at what's needed, and for example, this road is here. It is facilitating development. But there are programs we come up with that will be completed in 20 years, and we know that we will have moved from A to B.
In developing Kibeho, which is a popular tourism destination in Rwanda, Nyaruguru District Vice Mayor in charge of economic development, Gashema Janvier, says that Kibeho already has important infrastructure in place, and as a community, they have started discussions with the private sector, highlighting opportunities available.
The big contribution lacking is that of the private sector. We have spoken to them and we have pointed some of the challenges and how we can work together and develop Kibeho by working with us to build infrastructure necessary to receive the visitors like those coming for festivities.
Rwanda Development Board, Product Development Division Acting Head Jackson Hakiza says the tarmac road that was built will trigger more investment in Kibeho.
We always engage the private sector and encourage them to invest in Kibeho, like build hotels there. Sometimes they raise challenges like lack of infrastructure, especially good roads. But now that the Kibeho road was built, we have hope that it will attract investors to build hotels and restaurants so that visitors can get good places to eat and sleep.
The The first operations at Kibeo took place in 1981, gaining popularity starting in 1982. Isabel Masozera, RTV News.
Only a few hours are left for the process of writing numbers on houses to come to an end, and the beginning of the general census of the population and housing residents around the country say that the process has been successful. Now, local authorities emphasize that this activity will be completed on time. Olive Nete has this report.
Parts of the country in various villages, enumeration areas have been set up so that each clerk of the census can know where they will be working from. Clerks of the census are numbering houses to avoid missing out any house during the general census. Locals see that the activity is running smoothly because the clerks have been carrying out this activity well by meeting them at their homes, which facilitated them to continue their activities at home. In some of the villages, the process of numbering houses has been completed.
The activity has been completed in my village yesterday. Numbering houses and all other essential activities related to the census that were planned to be carried out in 5 days have been already completed in our village.
They placed a number on the door. After that, they asked me about my family, like how many of us are in the family, and I told them the number and they wrote it down. Then they told me that they will come back on Monday and reminded me that we should all be available at that day. It doesn't take long because they move from one house to another. Some of the enumerators of this census say that the numbering of houses is smooth via the help of local authorities, which makes this process faster. Everything is going on well. We are asking questions like the names of the people that are in the home, the names of the head of the family and his number, and then we number the door or the compound to avoid missing out any home. The mayor of Kirehe district, Bruno Rangira, points out that this event is well planned, and he also emphasizes that it will be completed on time.
Those who are in charge of carrying out the activity are doing it well, and we believe that they will complete it on time. And through various meetings, we continue to sensitize residents as well as explaining to them the importance of the census and the importance of the information they are giving out. And now we have been noticing that residents are ready for it, especially the night of the 15th to the 16th, where the activities will start so that when needed, they will give all the necessary information freely so that the activity can run smoothly in security.
The National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda points out that using technology facilitates the clerks to know the number of households that have been already recorded and to easily track remaining work to be done. The director of the census department in this institution, Vena Habarugira, urges residents to note the importance of the census and to show diligence during the process, as it was done in previous activities related to the census.
The first thing that any resident is required to do is to understand the importance of the census, because it helps us in setting up the national budget. And the other thing is that after knowing the importance, a resident should also engage in the activity of the census by giving right information and also receiving the clerks of the census and responding to the questions that they will be asking for the country to know the current status of every Rwandan through all the categories from this census that we are planning.
This process of numbering houses started on the 10th of August and is expected to end on the 14th of August 2022. The 5th population and housing census will start on Tuesday 16th and will end on the 30th of August 2022. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Children in primary schools say that properly understanding the principle of equality makes them know better how boys and girls should cooperate and consult when faced with problems. Now, this was during a training offered by the Rwanda Basic Education Board and the Building Learning Foundation project. Take a look. These are some girls and boys from some of the public primary schools joined in clubs that teach equality, but also encouraged to love mathematics and English lessons, as they are being trained by their teachers in the Building Learning Foundation project in collaboration with the national body responsible for basic education. These children say that since these clubs arrived at their schools, they began to understand the value of loving school and know more about reproductive health, and understanding that whenever they have a choice to make, there are those they should consult with, be it about their life or their studies. This club helped me to have self-confidence, seek advice from my mom, my sister, and my teacher, because these are people I feel comfortable with. Reproductive health lessons help us to understand the changes that take place in our bodies and to get answers from our parents and not from strangers, so that we don't end up being misled at a young age and our lives being destroyed.
Before, girls used to feel embarrassed to speak up when they need help during their menstruation period. But now, when they need our help, we understand and take them to the girls' room.
Some of the teachers that teach these children pointed out how it was not easy to protect them, and that now that there are efforts being made, parents also have a role to play. We established this club in 2017 because we witnessed a very complicated situation then, as a young girl in primary 5 got impregnated by a young boy. It is then we realized that although they are young in age, they are advanced in thoughts and are capable of making decisions that could permanently affect their lives. We urge parents to talk to their children. Although it appears that the majority of participants in the gender club are girls, the purpose of this project is for boys to know that both girls and boys are of the same value, and to help girls deal with different challenges that they face.
The program we have for girls is the same as that of boys, but after observing, we noticed that girls are lagging behind, yet the challenges that they face can be dealt with. This is one of the programs that BLF is working on, because BLF has 3 pillars. The first is to develop teachers in terms of knowledge, the second is to develop the leadership and management of schools, and system strengthening.
These clubs have been operating in schools for 6 months. Those who attend are mostly students with school problems, including financial issues, academically lagging behind, dropping out of school, and those with disabilities, plus other issues. All people, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you very much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.